Good evening to all you people out there. This is the Season Ticket Podcast. You've already noticed that we're doing something a little unusual today. Our usual anchorman, Des Burgundy, is stricken down by the plague or
it's throat AIDS.
Or the clap, yeah, something syphilitic possibly. So don't tell us, missus. So I'm taking over the nonsense. Earl is going to fill in for the nonsense I usually say, and then I'll fill in for the stuff Earl says. So we'll see how it goes.
We start with MMA?
We can start with MMA.
All right, let's get this over with.
I've heard on the grapevine that something may have happened in the world of extreme fighting this week. I'm not too sure what it is.
Yeah, Conor McGregor had a tweet.
Had a tweet?
Yeah.
That sounds like serious stuff.
Yeah, everyone knows it now. He said he was retired, and it became the most retweeted tweet by an athlete ever.
Is that right?
Yeah, which makes him as big as I thought he was.
Yeah, it's quite incredible, isn't it? I mean, I remember one of the lads sent us something, and within a couple of hours, it was on the BBC website. I was on the Guardian website. These, fellas from Dublin sitting around going, "Here, we'll send out a tweet and see what happens." Now, initially, I thought it was just them taking the piss, but I wasn't really looking into it. You've another theory on that?
I think originally what happened was, I immediately thought it was about pay, and then Dana White came out and said it was about conditions. Then McGregor came out and said it was about conditions, but it's about pay as well. One of the guys from ESPN, I think a journalist at ESPN, said that he thought it was about money as well. He thought that the 10 million was being bandied around. Right. And he wanted another 10 million. But it's the issue. The main issue is that he doesn't want to do another World Tour presser.
And could you explain a little bit about what a World Tour presser entails?
Okay, the last time they went around, they don't really do this with other fighters. This is more of a boxing thing. Think back recently enough when you saw Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, and like Mayweather would turn up. They turn up in England. They turn up in other. They go around from country to country promoting the fight, and that's fine. That's okay. But it takes a huge chunk of time away from a fighter, and he's pretty much said that he wants that time for training, or he wants to be paid for it. And he's really. This is an issue of just renegotiating what he's worth.
Is he contractually obliged to head out on the road?
I don't think I think he is to a certain extent, but he hasn't signed on the dotted line for the fight for UFC200. So I don't know where that contract might need. And it's the first time as well that Dana White has had to moderate his language about a fighter.
It's all a bit Mickey Mouse, isn't it? Like, what's...
No, that's the fight game.
It's just, it does. I don't think it puts it in a good light. I think it just looks really amateurish that a tweet goes out and all of a sudden, parts of the world have blown up. It seems... I don't know. It just seems a bit clownish. Surely they should have got the signature for the fight. Surely there should have been things in place whereby this doesn't come up and doesn't become such a furore. Yeah,
but look, I suppose that he feels that they were pushing him, and now he's getting a bit tired of it. And the easiest way to bite back is if you can talk and they'll say, yeah, but you still have to do the $1 million ad that we have planned, and you still have to do the the 4 or 5 week presser. Like, he just doesn't want to do it. He clearly doesn't want to do it. Like, and or he will do it, but he wants to be paid for his time. He's not getting he's not getting accommodated the way he believes he should be.
Yeah, and is there any danger maybe now that McGregor will start up the trade union we were mentioning before? Now I know you say it's a sport of individuals.
Not a chance. Although other fighters are now using this time to kind of push that again.
I mean, it's a greater good if they can just sort of get by. I know you're in a bubble when you're a fighter, and you have to be necessarily. Yeah. But just for with that Reebok deal that came in, shafted them. The
Reebok deal is enough to warrant that.
Yeah.
But it just takes an awful lot more than just fighters just clamoring for it. It has to have, political backing and all this kind of stuff as well. They have to have certain kind of, I suppose, people or interest groups on their side to help push it through. You're still dealing with people who essentially are casino owners. So think about that.
Yeah. There was a few questions that Dan put together, or hypotheticals rather, that I wanted to throw by you. There was one about, has he injured himself?
Nope.
Okay.
He was training in Iceland at the time when he tweeted that.
Okay, very good. What's another one he has there? Did the João Carvalho incident affect him to that type of degree?
No one can know that.
No, you can't. That's an entirely mad question.
What's more interesting is, like, okay, if we say that's affected him, when he lost his fight, he was submitted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't like, he wasn't punched relentlessly. He was submitted. So I don't know that that's the case. And he, from the sound of the way he's been from his post today, he sounds quite fired up about beating Diaz this time. You know, he sounds incredibly focused on it. In fact, that's what he's annoyed about by the sounds of it, is that he's not going to get time to do, you know, to train better.
Yeah.
And to get his weight right and, you know, to feel better, you know, feel right at that weight.
Well, what about the notion it's about drugs?
No, he's the most tested athlete in the UFC.
Grant. Is he starring in the next season of True Detective?
No, but I can see him do a film, not TV.
Right.
Unless they remake Love Hate in about 10 years' time.
No, that would be worth watching.
I can see him do that. Hey, a scummy hitman.
Well, do you have, like, as I said,
that.
he do that very well,
Yeah.
really.
Bang, you're dead.
What did you say he said to that fella on the TMZ? Some fella was annoying him.
Oh, there's a guy who's been annoying him, I think, at least twice now.
Yeah.
And I think some irritating Australian man. And he just basically calls him a tick. And like, he goes full Dublin on him. Like, so when you're listening to it, it's really satisfying because, you know, you're watching him using this stilted language and then you go straight into a stream of Dublinese. It's lovely.
You know, better that, you muppet.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah, him. Straight up calling him an idiot.
So do you have anything else you'd like to add to that? I mean, it seems that he's come out with a big post on Facebook.
Yeah, look, I think no one can really. Here's the thing: whether you like McGregor or not, no one can argue that a fighter gouging the UFC for more money is a bad thing. And if he does it, like I said, it's not. It's not a trickle down thing. For the moment, it's about fighters piping up. But if you lead by example at the same time as well. Maybe if a fighter says, I'll get away with a certain amount. No, maybe not what he's getting away with, but I can argue, you know, he can go, if my time is worth this much money, if he puts that on the table and they agree to it, that's creating a very dangerous kind of thing for other fighters. Can go, hang on a minute, I'm pretty valuable. Maybe not as much as him, but I can get some more.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, it's a fairly dodgy position Dana White and the UFC find themselves in. Do they use him as a test subject? Don't, you know, step up,
this is the
bow
thing.
down?
This is why I got suspicious, was because Dana White today came out and said, it's not about money. And if you read that full statement, you'll know Dana White's right in that it's about conditions, but it absolutely is about money.
All right.
Of course, it's about both those things.
So basically, this is going to run until it stops.
He could play hardball, let it run. UFC 200 can go by, and then he can just make New York, and it's still a big fight. Look, whenever he knows that whenever he turns up, it's a big fight. It's a big card. I think in the top 10 UFC cards, he's on 4 of them.
I think definitely this probably aids on a sort of selfish level. The season ticket podcast. We may yet get over to one of us over to Vegas for UFC 200. And given that Desi's sick and will probably be out of commission for months, it's going to be one of us two. So paper, scissors, stone, best of 3. I think should do it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Excellent. You want to talk a little bit about UFC 197?
Yes, Johnny Bones, he's back.
Oh yeah,
fresh from another brush with the law.
Yes,
and that's just looking muddier and muddier as it goes along. So best of luck with that. But actually, he might not be that guilty this time,
right?
You know, so because him and Karstar, you know, he doesn't have a great history.
And who's he up against?
Well, he was originally supposed to fight Cormier, but he pulled out because he just trains with a bunch of lugs, and they're always injuring each other. So they put in Oven St. Preux, and you can't see it anything other than maybe it's a wrong thing to say. It's a bit of a tune-up,
right? This fella has nothing he can really bring to the table now.
I don't think so. Like, I'm really kind of hoping he does something, like he does knock out Jones, like he just gets a little bit lucky and knocks him out. But I think Jones is the more dynamic fighter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's unquestionable. He's the best fighter the UFC has in terms of skill. Like the guys, he's the case of the kid's a natural.
Yeah,
he came into that UFC with only about like 8 fights, if I remember correctly, 8-0, and when the minute they put him in, he was already, like, from get-go, he was destroying people. And it was just like, it was spectacular ways of doing it. It wasn't just your standard punch, kick stuff. Like,
he's a serious fighter, all right, yeah.
Yeah, he's very, very exciting. I mean, and I think there was so much pressure on him as a young guy. And he knew he was something new at the light heavyweight division, that he had marquee star power. I think everyone kind of knew it about him the minute he came in. And I think he put on this persona, you know, this nice guy persona, even publicly saying things like, I'm a nice guy. That's when you know, like, something's...
Who says that?
He did. He did. And then you'd see him off camera, you know, calling Daniel Cormier, you know, names and stuff, you know, like, you know, yo pussy, are you there? You know, this kind of stuff. Like, you know, when they're talking to each other, and you'd hear Cormier run, "Oh, you're such a fake," you know. So it was like an ongoing thing between them that you're just like, I think that's real. But now I see the kind of douchier side of John Jones. I much prefer him. I've warmed to him. Right. Like, I really have. Like, he's becoming unapologetic.
Why do you always appreciate a good heel?
Oh, I love them. They're so much better. It's like, be yourself, lad. Just be yourself. Yeah. Like, and he's kind of getting cranky as well. But he's got... Look, you're talking about McGregor, credit as well. The best supporting act currently in terms of trash talk in the UFC, I think, John Jones. The psychological game he's running on Daniel Cormier is brilliant. And he's absolutely doing it. He keeps saying how much he's lost his marbles. He hasn't got it. Like, you know.
Is it expected that Cormier will fight in 200 then?
I think they're hoping that this is why I'm thinking this is a bit of a tune-up, you know, and then they can get him in time for 200. Jones has publicly said he would like to do 200 as well. Right. That's a pretty noble thing to jump in and do as well.
And if the McGregor fight doesn't end up going ahead, would that be the headliner then? Would that take over?
Well, if Jones comes through without injury, you know what I mean, doesn't get a box in the head and has to take a few months off, you know, all these kind of things, or even breaks it, you know, something in his hand, you know, anything can happen where, you know, he's off the card. This is why the fight game is so dodgy. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. Like, the matchmakers, I mean, it's very easy to say, oh, I don't like this card, you know, I don't, you know, this card is watered down and all. There is an argument for that, but at the same time, fighters are constantly getting injured, so the fights that they did hope people would see aren't necessarily happening. Of course. Even in smaller fights where people, you know yourself, people have interest in undercards and they're kind of going, I don't care about some of these, I don't even know who half the guys are. And injuries, like, you know, took away like loads of great fights over the last couple of years. And especially Jones and Cormier is a great case in point. Like, Cormier's been out a couple of times, like, when he was supposed to be fighting. Yeah,
that's par for the course, I suppose. Yeah. So are there any other fights there that take your fancy?
Yeah, well, the other two fights on the card are Demetrius Johnson versus Henry, I can't pronounce his name. I think it's Sajao. But that's another case of Henry. Like, this Sajao fella is undefeated, right? And he's an Olympian wrestler as well. Right. Pedigree. You know, he's legit as a grappler, you know. But Demetrius Johnson is the kind of guy that I like. Even if he got taken down, I can see him just springing back up again. He's very hard to get a hold of. He's the current record for most title defenses in UFC history. I think he holds it with 7. Right, it was, so that's a lot.
And what weight are these? Sorry.
Oh, I can't even remember. It's a flyweight.
Flyweight, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because the last time he had a loss was for the bantamweight belt against Dominic Cruz. Right. And he lost that, but then I don't think he's lost a fight since then. And that was... What year was that? It was a long time ago. Right. Like, I can't even remember how long that was. A lot of people regard him as a number 1 pound for pound. You hear his name being mentioned as number 2, and nobody talks about him because, you know, they're the little guys. But he's a great proponent of MMA in all its forms and varieties, and he tries lots of things. And people should always watch him for that reason. It's like some of the most fluid MMA you'll ever see.
And is he American? Is he?
Yeah.
And is Demetrius? Is that his first name?
Yeah, Demetrius Johnson.
What age is he? Is he
young enough? Oh, yeah, he's young enough.
I just think that'd be weird growing up with a Russian name in America during the Cold War 80s or whatever.
I mean, the other thing about this fight is that if you could say pick how this fight's going to end, it has 5-round decision written all over it.
And these flyweights, will they generally go the distance?
Well, that's the thing. And I was checking this up about the other fella. And the funny thing is about him is that since he's got to the UFC, he's only had decisions. He's only won by decision.
Oh, okay.
Demetrius Johnson's 7 consecutive title defenses have been a variety.
Okay,
not just decisions, but he's pretty much beaten people fair and square every fight. Like, you'd probably argue like he'd won most rounds anyway. Yeah, you know, it's very, very hard to bet against him. I mean, if you want to take a risk, go with St. Preux with a knockout. Go with Henry Cejudo with a sub or a knockout. Go with something crazy like that. You'll get fantastic odds. Yeah, because St. Preux is 4-1 for the win, and if you put a method of victory on that as well, and, you know, put in, I mean, you could come out with a bit like if you bet against all these guys. The only other fight that I'm really interested in is the Pettis versus Barboza one, and that's an interesting one because both those guys are famous for kicks that were heard around the world.
Oh, you'll know
the he knocked out Scouse hard man Terry Edom. Barboza did with this amazing wheel kick. Yeah, he just went down like a tombstone, and Pettis is famous for the one against the cage where he ran up the side of the cage and kicked Ben Henderson in the mouth.
The Matrix kick.
Yeah, straight in the mouth. It was lovely. It wasn't even in the head. It was right across the mouth, and he just fell backwards. And it was just like, oh, that felt good. Felt good watching that. But they both had patchy careers in the UFC. A lot was expected of both, and they both kind of wilted when it came to the main events. Like, so what's really interesting about that fight is that this could be a horror show, all right? Because it could be like when kickboxers wrestle.
Oh dear.
Sometimes, and that's just horrible. Yeah. Like, and I can see Pettis possibly doing that. I don't know who'll get the fear. I hope that their arrogance will take over, their professional arrogance will take over, and they'll just keep it on the feet.
Right. Sure.
That's my real hope, and you'll have possibly an absolute barn burner.
Yeah. Oh, that could be good, alright.
Yeah, I'm praying that's the real centerpiece.
Stay off the ground.
Yeah, and just because where they both have, you know, decent jiu-jitsu and submissions, I don't think that's where the fight really belongs. And or my fear isn't that it wouldn't that it be that it go to the ground. It'd be like a lot of kind of pressing against the side of the cage. Yeah. You know, that kind of stuff, or it's winning rounds like that. And you don't know who's coming in, the kind of a little bit kind of like worried about their career.
Yeah. So there's a fair amount at stake between them then, I suppose. Yeah.
I think there's a bit of credit at stake, yeah.
Fair enough. Well, is there anything else you want to say about the wrestling before we move on?
Well, wrestling, the only thing I heard was that China died.
That's I saw something about from the WWE.
Yeah, allegedly an overdose.
Really?
Yeah. You know, though, the drug death rate of those wrestlers is astonishing.
Relative to population, it's massive.
Yeah. If that has to be one of the most dangerous jobs in the world after you retire. You just drop dead. They have really bad lifestyles, those guys, in all fairness, though.
It's just
a whole bunch of them do.
Traveling,
and then they take huge risks as well. I mean, ridiculous stuff.
Ridiculous. Yeah, huge heights are going from everything. Yeah. It's a joke of a thing, but at the same time, the dangers are real.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's their own damn fault most times. you can't lift weights and do coke all day.
That's true. Yeah, and quite how that fella. Oh, what was the?
Remember Jake the Snake, poor guy.
Jake, yeah, Jesus, he had a rough upbringing though.
He did. I think it was his mother, his sister, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty rubbish.
Well, anyway, we'll move away from the happy fields of violence to some football-related nonsense now.
Are you going to gush?
I'm going to gush. I take it you refer to the Merseyside derby.
Yeah, because if you're too modest, I'll do it for you.
Off you go.
Okay, well, what I saw was something that reminded me of 2005. Isabel.
The unstoppable force type stuff.
Attitude was different. Atmosphere felt different.
It has to be said, though, Everton were shocking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they were terrible.
They were absolutely dreadful. But the sending off was like, I mean...
He's actually apologised for that, Maury.
Has he? Because I'll tell you what was interesting about that, because myself and Des were sat on the couch watching it, and I went, badge kisser to use.
Oh, yeah.
He started pulling his shirt, and you went, no, he's saying he was pulling him. That when obviously we saw he wasn't pulling him, it was I think that was a reference. It was a real kind of tribal reference. I think that's what he was pulling his shirt for. It's a form of badge kissing. And I think that was his kind of lame excuse after doing something where he just lost his bloody temper because he was having a bad game.
Yeah, it was just...
There's no reason to do that unless you feel like you're being made a fool of.
What's it like, I've taken one of them out for you boys. Yeah, and you've got yourself sent off.
I thought so. That's what it felt like to me watching it. I was kind of going, what a weird gesture to make after you've done something like as cynical as that. I think, and it's almost like trying to mitigate what you've done.
Yeah.
You know, kind of go, he took one for he didn't, he went for him. I think maybe, I don't remember the full match enough to know, maybe he had a film made out of him. And you know what I mean? Like, just...
If every defender took out the forward who made a fool of them, we'd have no forwards. But
it happens, though. Everton, that attitude creeps in.
Yeah, it can do, but they collapse spectacularly.
Did Phil Neville not say that? Or Phil Neville not say that about Hazard?
No, what did he say?
He said, like, they were kind of talking about Hazard's, like, fancy 1-2s and stuff like that, and dummy in, and he said, if someone pulled that on me in training, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, Phil Neville's not the brightest spark. Yeah, if someone pulled that, I'd get them. So, hard man. Well
anyway, look, case in point, like, Everton absolutely were dreadful.
They were.
Like, you could go on and on about them. You know what I mean? You could talk and talk and talk about how bloody awful they are at the back, how Martinez seems to care about half the team. It's top. It's not interested. I think the problem might be the midfield, really. Because, I mean, you can't...
But you see, they're
not getting cover. John Stones is overrated, for one.
He is at the moment, certainly.
Well, look, I'm not going to not to rag on him, but whatever prices you're hearing, 40 million for John Stones, give it up.
Sure, every price associated with a player these days is largely nonsensical. But you see, when you're saying the midfield, didn't Martinez say there just a couple of months ago that Gareth Barry, probably one of the best midfielders England has ever had? Ever. He's a fantastic player. He also said McGeady was phenomenal. He said that Cleverley is the most scintillating free transfer this country has ever seen. Niaz, who they bought for 12 million, the third most expensive signing ever in their history, has come on 6 times as a substitute since January and has done the square root of fuck all, to be honest. And was quite culpable. I remember they were 2-0 up against West Ham and they ended up losing 3-2. He was culpable for at least one of the goals. In fact, he was brought on as a substitute when they were down to 10 men. This is Martinez thinking, you know. So, yeah, I'd say, unless they win the FA Cup, I'd say he's hitting the bricks fairly lively anyway. Whereas Liverpool, in 3 of their last 4 games, have scored 4 goals. So they're just now, obviously, Origi being injured. Thankfully, the ankle wasn't broken.
Say it publicly.
You'd still
say it publicly about Origi.
Say it publicly.
Yeah, that I called it right.
Well, I can't. Not now. Yeah, we would have watched him at the World Cup, and you were thinking he was good. And I was thinking he was good, but I've seen plenty of fellas be good at the World Cup and then be pretty brutal afterwards. So Rodgers bought him. I thought that was just Rodgers trying to be smart, going, "I'll get in here before anyone else," and he'll turn out to be a dud. But credit the boy. He's
Belgians
very
have
good.
Belgians have a good standard of footballer.
Like
in the last few
Benteke
years.
out of the team. Well, arguably everyone is keeping Benteke out of the team.
Like, I know Benteke is a Belgian as well, but he's not the worst footballer in the world.
Oh no, if you play to his strengths, Benteke is...
Because we've seen him play very well, so it wouldn't be fair.
Anyway, shall we move on from the Liverpool match to the previews I did for this weekend? I first off went with Bournemouth v Chelsea. It's on Saturday at 3 o'clock. And I reckon Bournemouth have a decent chance of winning.
Yep.
You saw the Chelsea City game, did you?
Oh, it was the worst they've been all season,
shocking.
arguably.
I mean, they were on the pitch, but they weren't
did
really there.
not care at all.
Even Willian didn't look arsed.
No, he wasn't bothered. He was already thinking of some magical holidays taken.
Well, he deserves it. If anyone on that team deserves a holiday, it's him.
Yeah, give him something extra at the end of the year as well, because he has more heart in that team than the rest of the midfield.
The best price I saw for that was 85 to 40.
Yeah. To be fair though, the Costa has heart. He still has fight in him, I think.
When he's arsed, he didn't. He wasn't for a while, you know.
Yeah, but the team at the moment, I don't know.
And I think Bournemouth are only 3 points behind Chelsea, and they're tied with, I think, is it West Brom and maybe Watford, I'm not sure, on the same points. Yeah. So they're safe. They've secured their Premier League for next season easily enough. Now they actually have a chance of getting into the top 10. If they beat Chelsea, they're level in points with Chelsea. Chelsea are 10th. That would be incredible. If they manage 10th or better in the first season, it'd be amazing.
You know what's so nice to see, although, you know, obviously Villa, Sunderland and Newcastle fans won't agree with me, it's so nice to see Leicester, Bournemouth, Watford, you know, at least in the fight. To a different degrees.
Yes,
you know what I mean? They're all like, they've all like, you know, you always expect all the teams to go back down, you know what I mean? But this is such a messed up year.
Yeah, real strange year. Really strange year. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going Bournemouth winning that. A match on at the same time is Liverpool v Newcastle. Now, Benitez was saying...
Oh, that could be a cracker.
It could be, Benitez was saying there, you know, he hopes Liverpool do him a favour. And then I was thinking, did you not see the match against Dortmund? Liverpool aren't going to do you no favour.
I don't know where he got that, but I think that might be a joke.
Newcastle away. Right, check this out. I do. I have it down there. 17 games, 7 points. That's a pretty poor record away from home.
I'm kind of amazed
diabolical
at a running team like Newcastle. I don't know. I just assume that they should win games. I don't know. Maybe it's just I feel like I'm still in a haze. That, you know, the Newcastle supporters certainly aren't. But when I watch them, I just think, why aren't you better?
Well, they beat Swansea 3-0.
That's what I mean. They're capable of doing things.
This is the thing.
Like I've seen them play Liverpool and seen them play Chelsea. You know, both those teams, they always seem to give it a real go when I'm watching. So it's like,
well, that's the thing. That was actually something that was levelled at them, that they were really performing when they were the televised match.
Wow.
Yeah, this was mentioned by Morden.
I had that theory. Well, I have that theory about Monday Night Football for a long time about how I think they know it's the only show in town, and I think you do see a higher quality game.
And there was some correlation between their televised matches and their performances. You know,
me ma's watching.
Yeah, but or agents or other teams are watching.
Or agents, how cynical.
The thing with what was I going to say about that now? It's like, Benitez in the last couple of games. I think it's apparent that he's having some impact on the team now.
Yeah, it's been said. It's been said. Oh yeah, they should
too late in the day. But he's dropped Shelby, who had been made captain, the big January signing. Dropped him, brought Teote back on to sort of shore up.
I like Teote. He's got a temper,
and they were really unlucky, I thought, against City.
Yeah,
I mean, City's goal was offside.
Yeah.
And it ended 1-1, but I thought they played really well. Now I think it's too late in the day for them at this stage.
Yeah, I don't think you can make the improvements in time. No. And I do believe you're actually seeing a slight improvement for that reason. I don't think it's new manager best. I think he might have just marshalled them a little bit better.
Well, Benitez is excellent at that.
That's one thing. He's always known for. So,
but let's just say I reckon Liverpool will win that, and the price is 5-8 for Liverpool win. So I mean, that's not too bad.
I'd assume Liverpool, but again, City will Newcastle will give it a go.
On Sunday, actually, as we speak, Arsenal are playing West Brom. I don't know how that's going on. Desi's usually very quick and nimble-fingered with this stuff, but I am not. So there's a score. What it is, I don't know. But then
that match will either be 1-0 to West Brom that's it, and that's the result.
One shot on target from West Brom.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
Do you know West Brom beat Arsenal 2-1 in the corresponding fixture earlier in the season? But they only had one shot. They won 2-1. It was ridiculous. But so they're playing Sunderland. They're away to Sunderland on Sunday. And as I've got written here, Defoe got goals, Arsenal got woes. Doesn't really work. But
I'm a big fan of Defoe.
Yeah, I mean, he's something else. He really is.
And he does need to come back and help out a little bit. He does have I don't know what it is. Maybe he's got a good personality, man, and helps the team, boosts the team.
Well, I don't know. He's petulant and stroppy. Like,
but he's a bit of a. He has a touch of Flash Harry. When he scores a goal, and you can feel that the crowd love it. Like, you know what I mean? He's a showman in a way.
He was nearly. He seemed even pissed off when the young fella Duncan Watmore got the third goal.
Yeah,
there the other week, and I was like, God, Defoe, come on, you're a grown man. He's a child. Let him have his moment.
No, it should have been me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you not find that's Robbie Keane has a touch of that as well? I think.
Yeah, but Robbie can do what he wants now. He's earned the right to point and score goals.
They're both travelling footballers,
It's true. Yeah.
I think they like the roar of the crowd. They don't care who.
I think I've just gone for a Sunderland win here, largely because Arsenal are. That's the noise.
Buying into Sunderland.
Sunderland seem to have the bit between their teeth. Yeah. Norwich don't look great, so Sunderland are probably thinking we can.
I'd be really worried if I were a Norwich
supporter. They have a game in hand in Norwich and
Newcastle. I think they could be the surprise.
They could get out, and Defoe's goals.
Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great? I have this kind of fantasy dream / nightmare last day scenario where hopefully the fate of Norwich, Sunderland, and Newcastle will be combined by varying results. That would be lovely. And my nightmare part of it is that the last match Leicester have is against Chelsea, and if just the next few games didn't go Leicester's way, just by some bizarre reason, I'm hoping that it won't come to that.
Yeah.
Just for some bizarre reason that they'd spoil the party. I actually would not be happy about that, because I know that people would be like, it'd be funny like in the old school way.
That would be Mourinho at a distance.
It would be Mourinho, yeah, without Mourinho, which is kind of weird. But I have a feeling it would almost be unintentional this time.
Yeah, well. So yeah, that's...
No, it would be kind of funny seeing John Terry come out and celebrate that.
Yeah, in his shorts and everything. So yeah, I reckon, it's probably City, but I think Sunderland might win that. However, we're nearly out of time, but before we go, wanted to speak briefly about a young man named Totti playing for an Italian team called Roma. Did you hear what he got up to there during the week?
No.
Okay.
I saw the name in the
well,
paper,
basically what's happened is there's beef between, well, not really beef, him and the manager Spalletti. Spalletti's come in and has done a very good job. Mm-hmm. He used to be manager there before, and in fact he was the manager who sort of reorganised Totti's role to the point where Totti had his best season 10 years ago, sort of a false nine thing. Anyway, so he's back now, but things aren't great between them. Toddy is 39, going on 40 soon. It's his last year of a contract. The club aren't making any offers with another one. He'd like to stay, etc. He's not getting played. So they were playing Atalanta on Sunday, and they were 3-2 down. He brought Toddy on toward the end. Dzeko had missed a couple of open goals. Brought Toddy on. Toddy got the equalising goal. Yay, right? Big celebration, but there was beef in the dressing room afterwards. Apparently Spalletti had a big roaring argument to Totti saying, you're out playing cards till 2 a.m. and all this type of stuff. So anyway, they roll on to Torino midweek, and they're 2-1 down. They're at home, Roma, 2-1 down at home to Torino. And Totti comes on in the 84th minute. 22 seconds later, scores with his first touch of the ball, right? 2-2. 2 minutes later, penalty. Totti steps up, bang, 3-2. And Roma are now, I think they're guaranteed Champions League because of that. And Toddy's coming on. The hero's been there 2 decades or whatever.
Yeah, he has a shout for another year, I think, after stuff like that.
He's made him a huge amount of money the last couple of games. So,
yeah, although he probably is playing cards at 2 a.m.
he likes living it up, does our Toddy.
I'd well imagine.
So anyway, I think that's us as a duo done. It's been lovely working with you tonight, Earl.
Yeah, it was great. Best of luck with that cough, Des.
Yeah, let's hope Plague Boy comes back next week and we can get some semblance of order. That's the
Cold
one,
order.
Cold order. Good night.